Uh, do you think we can expect any changes in the FTC's used car rule as related to the buyer's guide in the near future?
I don't know exactly what the FTC is going to do. Now, this is an interesting issue. I mean, they first started their 10-year review. You know, they review their rules, and they have lots of rules in different fields every 10 years. They first started this review in 2008, and the Attorney Generals issued comments, and actually the Iowa Attorney General's office drafted those comments that about 40 states joined that made certain suggestions. And then we didn't hear from the FTC for about 4 years. And then I think it was in 2012, they issued a comment about what they were going to propose to do in the rules. And it disappointed state AGs and a number of consumer advocates because we thought that they should be using the buyer's guide as a tool to get the most important information to consumers. And as an example, in the states of Wisconsin and Maine, the buyer's guide is used to disclose prior salvage and damage history. And this is in addition to anything they have in state law that has something like Iowa's damage disclosure statement that you have to issue at or before the time of sale. But right on the buyer's guide, they've got vehicle history information there. And then since we made those comments in about 2009, California adopted its law requiring certain branding of the vehicle itself with information about vehicle history, including kind of a warning sign in essence when a vehicle has a salvage or damage history. But we had hoped that the FTC would do something in that area, and instead they did something we thought was negative. We think they misdescribed the meaning of an as-is sale in their revised buyer's guide. And we were disappointed that all they had on the history of the vehicle was a recommendation that the consumer go to the FTC's website, and then if the consumer goes to the FTC's website, they'll see a link to Invitas. We didn't think that cut it. You know, if a dealer knows or reasonably should know that vehicle was on a salvage title at one point past or rebuilt or had been a major wreck, that ought to be on the buyer's guide. And so we issued a new comment to the FTC saying we are very disappointed in this, in essence, and we strongly urge you to rethink this and go back and take a look again at what dealers reasonably should know. And, by the way, this as-is statement you have here, we don't think it cuts it. And here's why. When you sell a car as is, that doesn't mean buyer beware. That doesn't mean that it gives you the right to withhold information you know about the vehicle's history. You know, if you know it has a faulty engine, selling it as is does not give you a license to conceal that. As is means it doesn't have a warranty. That's all as is means. The car doesn't come with a warranty. It doesn't mean, hey, if there's a problem, that's your problem. No, it doesn't mean that. It's your problem, dealer, if you don't disclose it. We don't care if you sell it as is or not at the Attorney General's office. That's your business. But if you don't disclose major defects or problems, then we come knocking, and so does DOT. It doesn't matter that you sold it as is. That's not the law. As is means no warranty. It doesn't give you a license to withhold information that consumers need to know, and that you probably know. So understand that. We'll see where the FTC goes with this. You know, we're hoping in 2014 they finally do come forward after 6 years here and say what they're finally going to do. I think they may have been a little bit surprised to get the pushback they got from state attorney generals and others in law enforcement and the consumer advocate world. But they're good people. They've been our colleagues for a very long time. We work with the FTC a lot. We respect them. Some of our graduates from attorney general offices go on to work there. They know where we're coming from. We know where they're coming from, and we hope that they do more for consumers on the buyer's guide.